Hey guys, happy end of day review time. Wanted to check in here after what was pretty much an inconsequential and uneventful day. Kind of god awful, really. When we came in, identified my hesitancy to have much confidence in the profile today, given the overall lack of positioning, meaning I don't think there would have been a lot of influence from the market maker perspective and hedging flows in the futures market to kind of push price around. I figured the market's going to have to do what it's going to do on its own, and there were some clear areas of opportunity. But the couple of spots I wanted to draw some attention to again from the pre-market plan was this idea of ranges and where the opportunity was. This kind of range from 71.20, if that held, to move up to 71.50 was kind of my upside thesis on the day. My concern was that even though these positions were thin, the overall longs there made this the highlight of the kind of grindy chop slash speed bump in the up move area. And I think you can see this 30 to 35 where that started was really kind of the ceiling on most of the day. As far as SPX goes, we did get an open and an initial couple dips lower. And again, my concern down here was that it was thin, but broadly speaking, even though it was thin, it was mostly dealer longs. We pretty much held that previous day's close. It really wasn't anything to be too concerned with. Or not yesterday's close, but the prior days. 71.10 has been kind of this magnetic, persistent price. But I think from the profile perspective, that buffering of any selling kind of reared its head. And then all of what was down below us, all those puts that got entered late yesterday on that sell before the news carried us back up, that kind of has a natural, if you're not threatening down there, those are being bought back, right? So there's a passive support that I touched on intraday that kind of keeps us afloat. And I think that's why we had really shallow dips all day. But the lack of any juice to squeeze to really move higher, I think was evident and kept us in this little kind of crappy range all day. So if you were taking range trades and just looking for 10, 15 points, you probably had some decent little scalps here and there. If you didn't die of boredom, you can do what I did, which was held on to my thesis we might find a lower balance if we actually sold under here. If we were in sniffing distance of it, I kept thinking maybe we'll get that balance down here instead. But the fact we kept reclaiming 71.20 late actually caused me to pivot. I called it out in the Discord. I said, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to take a convexity play. If we got over 35 late, there might be enough to get us through this thin positioning to maybe test up at 71.50. It was kind of a, these are so cheap, I have to do it on a call spread idea. If you went naked and took like a 71.40, you probably got like a decent return for a hot second there. The straddle was pricing a 7 point move at like 220 something. So when I entered these, we were holding the 71.25 area, 71.20. The straddle was only showing we were going to make a 7 point move from there, which is pretty much what it did. I was banking on the fact it might double or triple that if we broke out over that 71.35 strike. So those contracts went from like $1.15. You could have gotten them as cheap as like 70 or 60 cents, I think. And I ended up getting trims off at 3, 4.5, and 3.50. So had we actually gotten that extension up, those could have returned much more, and it was worth the risk to me to even hold those to zero potentially. So you turned about $550 to $600 worth of risk or so, depending on your entry, and you made maybe $1,200 in profit. So not a bad kind of 2R and slightly higher trade there to end the day. So I did signal that as something I was taking. I had my rationale there. I think when we look back at the pre-market profile, it kind of was justified in me thinking it might be range and aggressively so. The difference being we didn't really get it to the downside, so it actually kind of constricted things in a way that is surprising to me, given how little positioning there was out there on the day. So how this sets up for tomorrow, really interested to see. They keep selling higher and higher up into the 7200s. People are really hedging the upside, it looks like. I wonder if we're not going to start seeing some more people buying puts a little closer to the money just out of an abundance of caution. And maybe we get some little slippery zones, but I think for the most part, we're looking like we are wanting to explore higher out of this all-time high range again. So check in tomorrow. See you on the stream, Project 365. I'll be on in the morning. Hope to see you there. Thanks.